So I was told that you were having trouble getting into reading. You want to get into reading, you've heard all your book friends talking about it, you've seen it on BookTok, you want this new adult hobby, but you haven't read since you were forced to do that in middle school. You've come to the right place. Listen, here's my expertise. One, I didn't get back into reading until later in life. I really only think that I became a true reader probably 3 to 4 years ago, and now we have a full in-home library. Secondly, my husband was not a reader. In fact, he was like, I'm essentially illiterate, did not read, and now he has a Kindle and he has read more books than I have this year. In fact, he may lap me this year. I think he is like well over, I know he's over 10 books ahead of me. So we're gonna go over some books that are going to help you get into reading. If you're like, okay, I want a book, help me get into it. You know, maybe you've picked some up and you just couldn't get into it. So I have some book suggestions for you to get into reading. These are books that are easy to digest. They're not too long. They're not intimidating. I'm not going to ask you to get into an entire series. I think I only have one series, and honestly, I'll put a caveat with that one. I'm also gonna give you some tips on how to get into reading. First book that I think would get anybody into reading is Butcher and Blackbird. This is a romance. You'll notice a lot of mine are romance. If you are looking for you know that you are mystery, you know you are historical fiction, or you know that you are more I don't know, military, anything like that, not gonna be the one. I'm not gonna be it. If you are into romance, if you want to get into fantasy or you haven't gotten into fantasy before, if you know that you've sort of read more romance in the past, this is probably going to be your cup of tea, just to let you know. Butcher and Blackbird. This is a serial killer romance. I think that if you are somebody who wants to get into fantasy or is curious about fantasy, I think this is actually a really good, it's not fantasy, but I think it's a good starter book maybe. I'd say gateway drug into the type of love tropes that you see in fantasy books. Butcher and Blackbird, the reason I think it would be really good to read if you're trying to get into reading is not only are you following a love story, but there is a hint of mystery involved. And I do not like mystery books, but I do like this one. There is a whodunit type of vibe. And so you're not only being carried through the book by the love story, which to some people I can totally get feels exhausting, especially if it is a slow burn. This one, you're following the love story and you're following a whodunit, so you've got a lot to pull you through the book. This is also really interesting. This is not part of a series, but it is part of a trilogy. So if you like it, you can also read Leather and Lark, Scythe and Sparrow, and then you can also, she just came out with Taurus season, and then I think that there's another one after that as well that are spin-offs of this, but I would start with Butcher and Blackbird. Sometimes I think to get back into reading, you have to go back into YA. I'm 28 years old, but if you're reading this and you are in your 20s, 30s, something like that, YA can sometimes be your gateway if you need to get back into reading, because you're basically going back. A lot of us read Twilight, we read Divergent, we read Hunger Games, any of that, and maybe you didn't, but a lot of times going back to YA is a really good way to get back into reading. Anna and the French Kiss is one of my favorite books. I have probably reread this 3 to 4 times. I'm gonna reread it again very soon. This is YA. This is about Anna. She is an American going to a boarding school in France. She's angry at her parents. She meets a French boy. It's cutesy. It's not hard to read. The words are pretty big in this copy, even though it seems thick, you get through it fast. And it's just cutesy. It's just warm and cutesy. I think this is also a good book for fall. Yeah, I will read this over and over and over and over and over again. It's just so cute. It's just so good. And yeah, YA, I think you don't need to dive headfirst into A Court of Thorns and Roses. And although that was a huge gateway book for me into fantasy, that's not necessarily everybody's, and I know that everybody's probably heard about it, so I'm not gonna include that one in this one, but it is my favorite series. Tip if you are having trouble getting into reading, try audiobooks first. If you do not listen to audiobooks, try audiobooks first. You really, honestly, not every audiobook is the same, and not every audiobook is going to be something that really brings you in. I think Butcher and Blackbird would be a great audiobook to do. Anna and the French Kiss, I think would be cute too, but I think that that would be better as a reading personally, but Butcher and Blackbird I think would be a perfect audiobook starter. But start with audiobooks. You do not have to actually start with physical reading books. Although I would not say invest in a Kindle before you know that you're a reader. I got a Kindle for Joseph a couple years ago for Christmas after he was just devouring audiobooks. He loved it. He loved it. It does change the reading experience because it's very it's easy to hold. You can read it at night. You're not having to hold your hands really funny. It also gives you the percentages and how many minutes left in the chapter, how many minutes or hours left in the book based on your own reading speed. I really, really love it. That or a Kobo, so good. If you haven't heard of Kobo, that is basically non-Amazon Kindle. I love my Kobo. I have started using my Kobo more than my Kindle. Fourth Wing. I know, give me a second. So many book talk people talk about Fourth Wing, but I think it is actually a very good gateway book. I don't think that is extremely complicated. I think that it is, you get a taste of fantasy world building, but I think it is actually great for anybody in all genres because I've seen this book go so far with people who don't even like fantasy. This is part of a series. There are 3 books in it total. Just start with Fourth Wing. You will be fine. If you don't go through the rest, it's okay. She hasn't even released the last one, and personally, anybody who asks me about reading Fourth Wing right now, I'm kind of like, if they're already a reader, I'm like, wait till the last one comes out so you can just read it all in total, because numbers 2 and 3 pissing me off. Really good cliffhangers. I think Fourth Wing is actually something that is very approachable for anybody. Okay. If you read Fourth Wing, know that there's going to be some crazy names, and know that we all skip over the name. We don't try to say that name in our head. Another tip if you're reading, and this may seem completely obvious to some, but this is literally something that I had to get used to in the last year, and I've been reading for years. Go like chapter by chapter. If you're sitting down to read, think I'm going to read 1 chapter, I'm going to read 2 chapters. Set that goal and do that. I was reading, and this did not keep me reading very fast. I was going through books so slow. I was just basically reading until I got tired. I would read at night and then I would just stop in the middle of a chapter, and it's not conducive to good understanding. It's harder to finish the books. Like, you definitely go slower. So when you are like completing a book, say, okay, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to read 1 chapter. And then if you start another chapter, you have to finish that chapter. Go chapter by chapter. Again, some people are gonna be like, that's literally how you read. No, some people just read until they're bored and then they stop. And I don't think it's actually a very good system to get into reading, keep you reading, and to finish books. So if you also find that you're a bit of a slow reader and you're doing that, try going chapter by chapter. I mean, you could do 1 chapter per sitting, but you'll find that you're getting through it a lot better. The next book, I have actually book 2, like right there, Accomplice to the Villain, but I think Assistant to the Villain is a great starter book. It is fantasy, but it's very much Ella Enchanted vibe fantasy. So cute. It is part of a series. I realize that's my other series one. Sorry. Accomplice to the Villain just came out, and then I think that there's going to be a 3rd one, not positive. Stopped after Assistant to the Villain, and I still need to start that 2nd book. It's cute. It's easy. I think that it is super like fun and lighthearted. There's a lot of sarcasm, and it's just very cleverly written where it is interesting. The tone of voice of the author is very interesting, and of the POVs that you're listening to. It also has switching POVs. So you have the main female character and the main male character, and you get to go in between, and I find that to be a lot more engaging. It's so good. Again, very digestible. I think that's a really good starter book if you are trying to get back into reading. Assistant to the Villain, top tier. It's just very entertaining, a good love story, and it's cute. And it also has a whodunit mystery, what's gonna happen, who's doing these things type of element, so you're also getting pulled through with that. I'm going through my Fable read list, and I'm going back to when I first started reading, seeing what I was reading and like kind of jogging my memory about like the best books that I've read that really stick out, that I think, oh yeah, this is a good get us back into reading book. One of them is Icebreaker. Icebreaker I've actually read in the last year. So cute. It's a hockey romance, which I think that sports romances and like themed romances can be really cringy. This one, it's not cringy, but it is like an appetizer book. It's easy to read, it's fun read. It's a hockey romance, like hot hockey guy, figure skater. It's just cute. It's a cute little rom-com. It's like a Hallmark book, and it's good. You should read it. It's really, really good. So if you just want something cutesy, that's a good one. November 9 by Colleen Hoover was so good. Oh my God, I would totally read that. Colleen Hoover is a good author to actually get into. I know that some of the fantasy people are like, bleh, you know, very mainstream. The mainstream authors are going to be the ones that are going to be the easiest to like get back into reading. There's a reason that they are popular. A lot of times with popular books, they start to spread out past the book community. And so you see people who are not normally readers reading them and loving them, which is why that's a good thing to gravitate to. Also a romance. Colleen Hoover is a great author. She's a good one. Okay, last one that I will recommend is Chaos and Calamity. This is so good, and particularly a lot of people that I hear like, oh, I haven't gotten into reading, I can't get into reading, I can't sit down, like sit and read, have ADHD. A lot of my friends have ADHD, which is why I'm recommending Chaos and Calamity, because it was written by an author with ADHD and is about a female main character who has ADHD. It is not all about, that's like not the only thing about her. I think that would be super alienating and like not, honestly, I was worried going in that it would just basically be about an ADHD girl and very, I don't know, like performative as a book. No, it's so good. It's a romance. She's chaos, he's calamity. It is just It's so cute. And I think that if you have ADHD, that going into a book written by somebody with ADHD and then with an ADHD main character, going through my best friend has ADHD, so I was able to read it and really connect with the thoughts and feelings that she was having based on what I have heard from my friends. And it will keep you hooked. It's also a really easy read. I literally read it in a day. It was when I was on a reading weekend, so I sat there for hours and just read. But it's really cute. I think you'll love it. You're like, I can't sit down and read and like pay attention. That's literally a book that I think would be made for you. That's it. I hope this was helpful. I think I'm going to continue this list. I can totally do a part 2 of this, some more tips on how to get into reading. But those are some books that if you're like, look, I really want to get into reading. I see how everybody loves it. I really want to be part of this community and like be able to talk about it because it is fun. Listen, being in the reading community is so fun. These are books that I think will get you there, and then you can kind of just start building your library, and then all of a sudden you're here. I love you guys so much. Let me know how you liked the video down below in the comments. Let me know what books that you would recommend if you're watching this and you are a reader. Please subscribe as well. Please subscribe to my channel. We're having some fun over here. And now I'll see you guys next time. Bye.